Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Be Positive. I am your host, Krista Gregg, and today's guest is Kathleen Pratt, who is a single mom who knows what it means to build a life from the ground up. Kathleen became a mom knowing she would be raising her son Zane all on her own, and her journey has been shaped by resilience, loss, and the courage to trust her gut. You may recognize her from the Hallmark reality series The Motherhood with Connie Britton, where her story reached a national audience. So I am so excited that she is joining us today to share what it took to keep going, pursue her dreams, and create a life rooted in hope, community, and most importantly, showing up for herself. Thank you so much for joining us today, and let's get started. Hi, everyone. It is Krista Gregg with Be Positive, and today's guest, Kathleen Pratt, knows what it's like to build from the ground up. Kathleen became a single mom the day her son was born, and she knew that she was going to raise him completely on her own, and her journey has been one that I cannot wait for you guys to hear. And it also caught the attention of Hallmark's reality series, The Motherhood with Connie Britton, where Kathleen stepped out of her comfort zones a little bit, embraced some new challenges, and received some surprises that would just paved the way for her next chapter. And so today I am thrilled to talk with her. Also, a little tidbit for all of you. I have known Kathleen for a long time. We don't have to talk about any high school days and so forth, but I was just really excited to reconnect with her personally after all these years. Kathleen, I will let you take it away. I've rambled here. What have I missed? What do you want people to initially know about you and your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because we have known each other for so long, but it's definitely, I mean, it's cool to reconnect and just kind of see how we've each grown along the way. So that's definitely fun. I definitely am, I'm super excited to be able to like get the word out and just kind of share my story. Something that, I mean, I feel like is so important for people to know is that we're all going through it. And that's kind of like the biggest thing that I want people to know about me is like, I'm no different from everybody else out there. We all have our struggles. I'm not any like amazing superhero, super mom, whatever. I'm just a normal person that I want to get the word out and kind of share. My struggles are the same as your struggles. And, we can all get through it together.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's such a positive message too, because all of us, you're right, are going through something. And at the end of the day, coming together as a community and sharing these stories and letting others feel like they're not alone, that it's okay to struggle, right? It's okay to
Yeah,
go through
absolutely.
things, but you're not alone.
Yes.
And so hopefully hearing Kathleen's story today will help inspire or motivate or give comfort to anybody who's listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your early life when you found out you were pregnant and you're going to have this bundle of joy on the way, but also taking on the reality of single mom at such a young age.
Yeah, so I found out that I was pregnant very unexpectedly, and I was getting ready to start a job as a flight attendant. So kind of thought that I was about to conquer the world and life had other plans. So I really had to kind of face this situation and decide what I was going to do with it to make the best of it. I knew early on his biological dad he didn't want to be a father. He wasn't ready to make that step with me. So I knew from the day that I found out that it was just going to be me and my kiddo. And it was definitely a lot of ups and downs, just my entire pregnancy, trying to figure out, can I do this? Is this a mistake? What am I thinking? There's all these struggles as parents. So when take away part of that equation of having two parents, it adds a whole new layer of hard. So I really had to kind of take my whole pregnancy and pep talk myself every day. Like, you're making this decision to do this. You're doing it alone. So you're going to have to, give yourself grace and get through this and understand that you are taking a little bit harder of a route, but you are taking it with purpose.
Absolutely. And so your plans of being a flight attendant, that wasn't going to work out.
It's a little hard to travel when you're constantly sick.
Yep.
I flew as long as I could, and then I decided to settle down in Wichita. So we were living in Wichita. My son was born in Wichita, and I kind of stumbled upon a few different jobs. I've worked in sales and marketing and lots of different things, and couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. I knew that I liked working with people, but I also had to consider the fact that I don't have daycare after 6 p.m. I don't have anybody that can watch him on the weekend. So it was kind of a unique struggle that I know a lot of parents face that definitely limited my job opportunities. And it was a challenge for sure. But I found jobs along the way, some that I loved, some that I did not love so much, but just kind of bouncing around and making it work for the time being.
What were, as a single mom, what were the unexpected challenges? Was part of it just recognizing those daycare hours, but then also what else kind of surprised you? Because some people have a lot of family to lean back on where they could say, oh, grandma's coming over, but you were genuinely on your own for a lot of this. So what else surprised you about being a single mom and some of the other challenges you had to overcome?
Yeah, one of the hardest things, honestly, and I still go through this, I have a hard time celebrating fully. And what that means is when you're excited and you want to tell somebody, we have people to text or we have people to say, oh my gosh, come over and Zane took his first steps. Or, oh my gosh, Zane just said, Mama, I want you to hear it. And I didn't have those people to do that with. So it was a very bittersweet moment of I'm experiencing these really cool things with my son growing up, but I'm experiencing them alone. And just like you said, I didn't have anybody to say, hey, let's go hang out at grandma's house or let's go play with grandpa. My dad was still living in Colorado and it was just us. So it was very isolating.
It sounds like it. And later on, we'll talk about building the womanhood and trying to find community, which I will say this, one thing that I think is a challenge that a lot of us have, but even more so when you are a single parent, is trying to find time for everything. Pursuing your dreams, managing a calendar, letting Zane pursue what his interests are, helping him with school or friendships. Do you still feel that overwhelmed today and trying to manage that calendar and find time for yourself, but also accomplish everything that we're supposed to be accomplishing?
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think that will ever go away. I think that we all will struggle with that for the rest of our lives. And we have to kind of be conscious and aware of counteracting that. It was a little bit different for me being single, just in the sense that if he was sick, I had to go pick him up. If he had some sort of event, if he had a basketball game, I had to make the decision of, do I go to the game? Do I go to work? Do I go to class? There's so many different things going on. And I would try to get help as much as I could, but we definitely went through a time period where we got evicted and had to move. It was literally just find a place so that we have a roof over our head. And we had to move to kind of a sketchy area. Saw the police a lot at my neighbor's house. And then it just added this whole new level of, okay, now I have to find a babysitter who is willing to take him over here and watch him. And I'm still trying to get everything else done. So you add in a 25-minute drive and really sketchy neighbors, and all of a sudden finding a babysitter is 10 times harder.
And what was the game changer for you where you guys are now living in kind of a home of your dreams in a sense? You have a yard and you have multiple rooms and you have space and it's a safer neighborhood. What was the turning point where you could finally land on your feet in that way?
I think that the turning point, honestly, was a very slow turn. Kind of like the music boxes that you just have to keep cranking and it starts to play a little bit and then you keep cranking and you're like, nope, just keep going, the little bit by little bit. it really was at a point that I knew the general big picture had to change. And then I had to really kind of focus in on the little thing of I have to change my sleeping habits, because if I'm tired, I'm cranky, it's harder for Zane. I have to change my eating habits, because if we're not eating anything besides fast food, neither of us are going to feel good. And I'm spending so much money, and just like all these little pieces that added up. So it was just waking up every day. I mean, choosing to focus on the fact that I'm making this huge change, but I'm not going to see a huge change anytime soon.
It was small steps at a time, like
Absolutely.
little every day, just little progress and moving
Yep.
forward. What you mentioned earlier, your dad was in Colorado at the time. How did he play a meaningful role in your life?
Yeah. So my dad I've been a daddy's girl all my life. I never quite realized it until I got older, but I am exactly like him. It definitely changed my perspective on parenting, just kind of becoming an adult and having my own kid and realizing the different things that my parents had done with me when I was a kid. And it made me realize just my dad was so much fun. And I used to get so annoyed with him because he was always joking around and he was always being goofy. And I was just this typical, teenager kid that I'm like, had to stop. Like, that's so irritating. And now I do the same thing because I'm like, I just want to have fun. Like, come on, you're a kid. I'm a kid at heart. We can just have fun together. Parenting should not be stressful. And I used to think my dad was so just crazy and weird. And now I'm just that same type of person. And it's like, you just have a whole different perspective.
And as a single mom, you talked about when he could be there, he was always 100% there for you and Zane. What kind of support did he provide, whether it was from a distance or if he visited?
Yeah, he was there in so many different ways. He was a huge financial support, which I know that can sometimes be a hot topic of single parents and finances. But my dad always made sure that, he could be there for us financially if I was struggling. When he came out to visit, he was here. It wasn't like he was out and he was working half the time on his computer, or he was only here for like a day and then it was done. He definitely, like, when he would come out, he would make sure that he was here, and we went and I did all the tourist things in Kansas City, and we just had fun. And he always made sure to do something special for both Zane and for me, that, we still had that relationship that he was building, and that he was kind of fostering that growth too.
He unfortunately passed away a few years ago.
Yes. Yep.
How was that? Obviously that was probably devastating for you guys.
Yeah, it was devastating. Always I always think about the fact that, like, life is not black and white. There can always be something good and something terrible. And that was a lesson that I always tell people I really hated having to learn it that way. But I do think that him passing taught me more than I ever would have learned. Um, he he's always been just so smart, just brilliant and philosophical. He really passed that on to me to kind of look through a different lens. And so even in the devastation of losing him and having it be a pretty, unexpected death, he definitely passed way too young. I still was able to kind of turn it around and look at the fact that he made it so that I can go on this path that I'm on now.
How so? Just with the mentality and the spirit and the mindset that he helped instill in you?
Yeah, it absolutely was. So as I was going through his house, and kind of cleaning stuff out, I would find some old writings of his or just different books that he had read that he made notes in. And it was just kind of like he was speaking to me through those. And oddly enough, it was all stuff that I needed to hear at that exact moment. And it was maybe things that we never would have had a conversation about, or we never would have had that deep of a conversation. So just seeing those words and seeing kind of his truest self made me so passionate about pursuing my truest self and making sure that I'm living my life so that when I pass, Zane can see that I lived my life to the fullest and I did everything with my whole heart. And I mean, really just passing that on to Zane.
I love that. And it sounds like a full circle moment. I also love hearing when someone has passed away, a lot of times when I talk with guests, they say that there is always some sort of a sign or a message or a gift that is left behind in a sense of it's going to be okay. I'm in a safe spot. And it could be anything, but it sounds like your dad really did leave you some true, wise words to help you keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, regardless of how spiritual or religious or any of that, I feel like one thing that we can all, commonly agree on is when our loved ones pass, there's no greater feeling than getting something that just reminds you of them, whether you think it's a sign or a coincidence or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I ask my dad all the time and I see them. I ask for him to pop up and sure enough, it'll be the strangest ways.
You're not alone in that. I genuinely believe and think that those people are watching over us.
Absolutely.
You're an amazing mom, and you're also trying to raise Zane in a lot of change. You've lost your father. There's some deep grief there, I'm sure, for him too. And there's change of moving and finally just figuring out how to settle down and how to keep supporting each other. How did you balance protecting him from some of the more grown-up hard truths, but also supporting him and educating him along the way as a young kiddo? That's a big task to take on.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. You always want your kid to be shielded from the hard things. I mean, nobody ever wants their kid to suffer or be upset or grieve or any of it. But the reality is that we all go through that. And I wanted to empower him to learn from a young age that it is just a fact of life. We are all going to hurt. There's going to be things in life that are unimaginably painful. But if you have, the tools in your emotional toolbox and you have the understanding of how to get through those times, I think that that is one of the most powerful things that we can give our kids. And you have to present it in a way that is age appropriate, obviously, but I try not to hold back. When my dad passed, I didn't really go the route of saying, oh, Grandpa's gone to a better place. I just kind of set it out a matter of fact of Grandpa was really sick and he died. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see him anymore. But his spirit still lives on and we can still honor that. And it just kind of makes it a normal thing that they're not scared of death. They're not terrified of somebody's not going to wake up the next day. It's just kind of a thing that we go through and we get through it together.
Yeah, and it's okay to feel the highs and lows in life.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes. But they have to learn that balance and we can be there to keep them away from the really horrible, terrible things, but there's a difference of, talking to strangers and getting in the car with someone you don't know versus, hey, like, Grandpa died and we're going to talk about this and we're going to face it head on or you can go ride your e-scooter and please be safe. But, just our job as an adult to make that balance for them.
Yeah, 100%. You finally get settled in your new home. You have an amazing landlord. Sounds like it was a perfect match.
Yeah, I could not ask for a better landlord. And I came across this place pretty randomly. I had a friend who knew that we were looking for a house and I was kind of like manifesting different things on my end and journaling about it. And then she texted me and she said, hey, we know so-and-so. Do you want to look at the house? And everything just fell into place from there. And at first I really thought, oh, this is a great home. I love this home. And I didn't quite realize it's just an overall great situation. Steve is just seriously one of the nicest guys I've ever talked to. I have history in property management, so I know like landlords can be one way or another, and he just completely breaks the mold. He texts me like encouragement if I tell him that I'm running late on rent. He's like, it's okay. He's like, you're communicating. That's the good thing. He texted me one day and he said, just keep up the hard work. I see what you're doing and it's really inspiring. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my landlord is saying that to me. I'm paying rent late and he's telling me that he can see my hard work. So it could not be a better situation.
He's now, like, in a sense, part of your community.
Absolutely.
Like your inner circle of people to cheer you on and support you and help you.
Yes.
And paint the picture a little bit of and I'm kind of leaning in towards what's going on before you say, hey, I'm going to apply to maybe be on this reality show that you don't know what it is yet. But what is your life looking like, the day in the life of Kathleen and Zane, and trying to get everything done and accomplished?
So I thought that we were in a good place. I mean, compared to what we were in before, just physically and mentally, I thought we were doing pretty good, which, I mean, we were. There's different levels of good, but I thought, okay, we're in a good place. I'm getting up in the morning and we're having breakfast and then going to school and work, and we have this schedule of, come home and eat dinner and call it a night. And I'm like, okay, there has to be like something just feels blank, like it's missing, or it just feels kind of off. I was scrolling through Facebook one day and there was this ad that said, looking for single moms. It was something like, do you want to be pampered, or are you so busy taking care of everybody else that you don't take care of yourself? I really thought that I was applying for something that it was going to be like a spa day, like a salon day. So I'm like, okay, I've put in all the hard work. Like, we have this great life, and now I get my hair done and I can relax and get a massage and everything.
Get spoiled for a day.
Had no clue what I was in for. But I think they did that intentionally, and I think that was the best start that there could have been. Is I thought it was just this simple spa day, and it was definitely not that.
And you're working full time, and you also wanted to. You said at one point when we were talking, I think, that you had always had it in the back of your mind of wanting to go to cosmetology school, do hair. And one of your dreams that you started pursuing was getting into school and being able to have your own seat at a salon and maybe even own your own salon one day. But that's a lot to take on when you're full-time mom, full-time job. And so you were juggling all of this, yes, at the time?
Yeah. So I have a life coach that I work with, and she's phenomenal, and she's really taught me a lot about like trusting my gut. So one night I am going over my budget and I'm thinking about, okay, I have this Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I see Zane from, 5:30 to 9:30, and we have this schedule, and I'm like, again, something just feels like it's missing. And I don't even know where the thought came from, but I thought, I wonder if I could do hair. And I've always wanted to. I've always thought I can't do that because you have to build your own clientele. And I was always so scared of, what if I can't build a clientele? What if I can't do hair? I love to create. Like, creating is one of my favorite things in the whole entire world, whether it's art, hair, anything. And all I could think about for the longest time was, what about the people that I mess up? What about the people that I screw up their hair? And that just ate me up, and I let it stop me. I've thought about this since probably middle school, and I let it stop me for the longest time. And something just clicked that night. And so the next day I started looking up different schools, and there's one school that does part-time hours. They do nights and weekends. Everybody else, you have to go full-time. So obviously I can't quit my job. need an income. So I signed up for school, and then the next week I had an appointment with my life coach, and I'm like, hey, Cody, so I did this thing and I don't really know what I'm doing, but it just felt right. And it's kind of a done deal because I've actually already signed up for it. And she was like, Kathleen, I want you to listen to what you just said. She's like, it's just a done deal. She's like, you thought about this thing, you felt it in your heart and your gut, and you did it. And just think about how good that feels. And I mean, I'm even getting chills right now because I'm thinking about that moment where I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for you to talk me out of this. And she's like, no, this is amazing. Like you had this dream and you did it. You're not thinking about all the people whose hair you're going to screw up. Like you're thinking about how you want to do this. So I just signed up. I just started, and it just went from there.
Was Zane really supportive of mom's new dream? And
For a little bit.
oh, okay.
He was excited at first. I think we both kind of got so worn out at the same point, but he has been supportive, and I think now that it's nearing the end, he does seem a little bit more excited. I got my business cards in the other day, and I gave one to him. Instead of throwing it away, he just put it on his nightstand, and I was like, that was the sweetest thing ever. I'm like, thank you for not throwing it away.
In this experience, through the highs and lows of it all, he's seeing the finish line of hard work and of struggle and of dedication and the roller coaster of trying to accomplish something. Like it's never the straight upward path. So you're teaching him so much in this choice that you made to follow your gut.
Yeah, we definitely have had a few conversations, and sometimes I tell him, I'm like, this is life advice that I have to give you. Like, I need you to learn this. Or I kind of joke with him and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself this little pep talk, but I need you to listen of, things get hard. We don't give up when it gets hard. We get through it. We find another way. We don't give up. And that really has been one of the things that I've wanted from this. I mean, even if I'm never successful as a hairstylist, I just want him to know that like you can chase your dreams and you can pursue this thing, and maybe it doesn't work out, but you don't give up when it gets hard, and it's okay if it's hard. It could be great, but just because it's hard and scary doesn't mean that you shouldn't try.
Hi, everyone. Just need quick 30 seconds of your time. If you are listening to this podcast, you are probably someone others turn to, whether you're a parent, a friend, a teammate, or a leader. And at some point, many of us will face a moment where someone is struggling with their mental health, and we're not sure what to say or how to help without making it worse. So that is why Bright Sky House now offers mental health first aid courses. And I am the one training them, yours truly, Krista Gregg. They can be virtual or in person. And during these courses, I will give you practical tools, language, and the confidence to support your family, friends, and coworkers when it matters most. If you are interested and if this topic shows up in your life, definitely go to brightskyhouse.com and browse some of our upcoming courses. Thank you so much, and let's return to today's conversation. I wanted to at least paint the picture of your life and your big choices and exciting time. The spa surprise mom day that you thought you were entering was much bigger. I'm assuming the majority of us listening and talking have not been on a reality show. What in the heck does that process even look like?
It was wild. I mean, it was wild. I got an email that said, hey, we're interested, let's do a Zoom call. So we did a Zoom call, and sure enough, the entire call, like my cats are in the background messing around with stuff. They asked to have like a quiet, uninterrupted space, and like the cats are knocking things off the shelves. And then I try to move, and there's like this huge pile of laundry in the back. I'm like, well, this is my life, so welcome to the Zoom call. Didn't hear anything for a little bit, and then they said, okay, we loved you, let's do another interview. Like, okay, for a spa day, this seems like a lot.
Right?
So, so they kept the interview going. And then they said, okay, we're really interested. Can you send us pictures of yourself, pictures of you and Zane? I had to send in some video, just like some messages or answer some questions. I mean, it was random in my mind, but they would just be asking for little things. It
Okay.
took months. And then all of a sudden one day they said, hey, we're coming to your area. We want to meet you in person. I'm like, okay, I guess this is happening.
And you had no idea really
I did
what?
not, yeah, I didn't know that like it was all going on in the background. I didn't realize that I had been progressing this whole time. I just thought that they were asking for things, and really they were just narrowing down who they wanted on the show. So they said, you're one of the finalists. We're coming to your area. We want to meet you in person. So two of the producers came out and they came over to my house and asked some questions and recorded it. And I was just terrified the entire time because all of a sudden it's so real. And then it was a few weeks later, they said, okay, we want you to be on it. Here's what we're going to do. And it just went 0 to 60. And so the producer, I think it's the executive producer is the right title. She was the sweetest lady, but she said, Kathleen, I just need you to know you're going to hate me for this entire process, but just trust in what I'm asking you to do. And I guarantee you will love me at the end of this. I'm like, that's not a good way. That's not a good way to start this, but okay.
What did you sign up for?
I'm like, okay, well, I guess let's do it.
Did what she say, is that how you felt through the whole thing?
Yes. Yeah, that was very spot on.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you get on this Hallmark show called The Motherhood, and I've only watched your episode, but what I gathered is Connie Britton, which is like America's football mom from Friday Night Lights, and I know she's had other things, but that's always what I think of when I think of Connie Britton. She adopted kids, and then she ended up being a single mom, and she realized there's an entire community and support system, the Motherhood, where that came in. Like, you need your own like group of women around you. And
Yes.
so this reality show, basically the intention is to uplift single moms. You had a home designer, it sounded like more of like a child psychologist type person on the show.
She is a parenting expert.
Parenting.
I'm not sure her specific credentials, but I've actually followed her for a really long time on Instagram. Okay. So yeah, she's like parenting expert.
And then you had a stylist.
Yes.
And they all come in and see how they can all fit in and make change in your life.
Yep.
And I saw your episode, and it seemed very overwhelming at first when they all come into your house and you're trying to meet them, but they're also like assessing your life. How were you doing all of this?
So I'm a very private person, which is crazy because it's like you applied to be on a TV show. But I've always wanted to do something like that. So it was produced by the same producers that did Queer Eye. So along the same general idea of like transformation, makeover, but not necessarily just working on the outside, like also working on the inside. So that was where a lot of it came in. The crazy thing, and I have so much respect for people who work in that industry now, for an hour show, that was like 30 days straight of filming. I mean, it was nonstop, and there was a lot of schedule changes or location changes, and you had to be really flexible and just really understanding. So I'm already stressed and in this just worn out situation. And then all of a sudden I have 20 people in my house filming me while I'm even more stressed. So it definitely, overwhelm is a very good word for it.
Well, and you're still living your life. You can't just quit your full-time job and not go to cosmetology school, and you have your son and then 30 days of filming.
Yes. Yeah. And it was a very hard balance. And unfortunately, I did have to miss some filming with the other moms because it got to the point that I couldn't take more time off of work, and I had already skipped enough class, and that part was hard because I wanted more than anything to film with the other moms and get close with them. But I started filming. We did kind of like a staggered approach, and I started filming before everybody else did. So, when I was done, like, they were still filming, but I had to go back to my normal life.
Yeah. Yeah. What were the highs and lows well, let's talk about highs. Let's be positive here, hence the name of the show. What were the highs for you on this show? What did you really enjoy? What did you take a lot away from through this experience?
There's so many. There's honestly so many. I love Connie Britton. I've always loved her as an actress. It was kind of funny. It was another one of those signs that we didn't know she was going to be on the show. We knew there would be somebody, but we didn't know that it would be her. And when we did this big reveal and we walked in, we went in the room one by one so we could each kind of experience that. The first thing that came into my mind is my dad was such a big fan of her in Friday Night Lights. that was instantly, and Nashville. He loves her so much. So I'm like, okay, in tears already. This was a for sure sign from my dad. So just getting to meet her, she is seriously the nicest lady I've ever met. And she's she realizes the position that she's in, but she also understands giving back. And if you follow her on Instagram or anything, that she's always got posts about just social change and helping others. And that really was the catalyst for the show, that she struggled, and she said to us, she said, I have all of these resources and I have all these people around me, and I'm having a hard time. So I can only imagine what everybody else is going through. People that don't have that kind of resource or assistance or anything. She was very realistic and very relatable too. So that was definitely really cool to see.
It's awesome. And are you still in touch with some of the moms?
We are. Yep, we're still in touch. I just actually sent them the other day a link for my graduation celebration. So it is, it's exciting. We all live very far, unfortunately. Some of us are like an hour apart from each other. So we don't get to get together in person really as much as we would like, but technology is an amazing thing.
One of the big points of the show that they really drove home was, how does Kathleen find time for your interests and yourself? And you love, as you said earlier, you love to create, you love artwork. You really wanted to create a space in your home, the third bedroom, as a place for you. Since they have filmed and left and remodeled the space, has that space really upheld the purpose and an intent of something for you?
It really has. Just the normal day-to-day life. I have struggled so much with keeping a clean house, and I've always been so hard on myself. I know that we all have messy houses, but I just have always felt like that's just one of the worst things to deal with, is a messy house, and it's stressed me out so much. So this room has really become kind of like that sacred space of it just it just kind of sits how it is, and I don't have to come in here and worry about picking up a mess. I can come in and just shut the door, and it feels like I'm just shutting off the whole world, and I can take a deep breath. And it also just kind of is a reminder of everything that we went through on the show. This room could look completely different, and it's still just, when I come in here, it's just that memory of, okay, I went through this huge thing and it was so cool. And all these people, they were loving on me and cheering me on. And it's just like this symbol of, okay, like, you can do this. It's an amazing reminder.
That's awesome. So they surprised you with that. You
Yes.
got a makeover.
Yep.
Connie surprised you with, when you were done with graduation, they're going to pay for 6 months for you to be in a salon, building your clientele and doing what you've been working so hard at. Is that?
Yeah, so the interview process, part of it was, they kept asking me to send pictures of hair that I had done, and they were asking, like, what is your dream job after graduation? What would you like to do? And I I mean, I kind of really did allow myself to dream and think about what is best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me doing all of this is just the fact that I want to be my own boss. I don't want to work in a commission place because I'm still somebody else's employee. And if I'm in booth rent, I'm my own boss. I make my own money. I make my own rules. I make my own schedule. But that's hard to do right out of school. You rely completely on your clientele, and you don't have a clientele outside of school.
Yeah.
And so we had a day scheduled at a salon, right? I mean, it's literally walking distance from my house. And I thought I was going to get my hair done. I was so excited because I knew a makeover was coming, but
Yeah.
it hadn't happened. And I was like, okay, I'm so ready to get my hair done. I need it. And I walk in and Connie is just sitting there and I had no clue. It gives me goosebumps when I think about it. I had no clue what was coming. And she said, we don't want you to worry about what happens next. We want you to be able to focus on just getting through this. And the next step is it's solved. It's done.
One of the things that you mentioned to me was paying it forward for other moms.
Yes.
And maybe doing like a Mom of the Month program and figuring out different ways to kind of honor your experience on this reality show and continue to do good. What does that look like? What are you planning?
I'm so excited for this. This honestly, I think is one of the things that I am most excited about. I know the feeling of when I get treated, whether it's, me treating myself or the day that I had where they did do my hair and my makeup. We all deserve just a moment of peace and being pampered. Hair, anything, color, cut, anything can get so expensive. We are worried about, I spend $35 on my kid's haircut, and that's a lot of money to put towards a haircut. So when it comes down to it, I'll pay for his haircut. I'll put myself on the back burner. And I don't want that to always be the case. So I really just have come up with this idea where I can help other moms get that moment of peace and just really kind of donating my time and my services. And I want to connect with other people in the community that we will have people nominated. It's not just going to be people that I know, but just have people nominate moms that they know, single or not, that deserve a moment of peace.
And through this, you're building more of your community too.
Yes.
Because those moms are going to remember you.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so fun to hear stories from other moms. Part of the reason I like this job is because I get to talk so much. And I get to know the people in my chair, whether we know each other for a few hours or we continue to connect, having fun and just chatting for the entire time. Sometimes it's nice to just get out and talk to another adult.
Yeah. One thing I saw that you posted on social media too is kind of creating a good vibes environment when you're doing hair, I correlate it, and I don't know if I should, but I correlate it to how with your dad and how you described him, let's have a joyous environment. Let's be positive. Let's be upbeat. But that's the environment it sounds like you want to create in that chair as someone's finally taking time for themselves to get pampered.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Definitely. I understand that there is always going to be something to complain about. And myself, I can sometimes get sucked into the negative and all I want to do is complain. It's really easy to just sit and talk about the bad things, but the bad things will always be there. You have to force yourself to find the good. Sometimes the good is just, hey, you know what? I got up today and took a deep breath and I got my day started. But that's a good thing. That is a really good thing. That's a big thing that we need to acknowledge that. Yeah, we can talk about all the bad all day long and sit and complain. It's a lot harder to find the good, but it makes it so much more worth it.
What haven't we covered that you want to make sure that anybody listening hears about your story?
The biggest message that I want to get out is just we are in such a crazy time and the world is just very chaotic and stressful right now. We are all going through it. We're all struggling. whether you're a single mom, you're a two-parent household, whatever your story is, we all have our own struggles that are unique, but in the grand scheme of it, I mean, we're all going through it, and we just have to be there for ourselves. We have to show up for ourselves, but we also need to show up for each other. And that's not always going to be easy, especially coming from somebody who is just socially anxious. I get not wanting to reach out for help, and I get not wanting to ask for things, but we have to put that forward. We have to be vulnerable, and we have to allow ourselves to receive that help, and it's going to fill our cup, and we're going to be able to give it back tenfold. It's always just an inner monologue of, you just got to do it. You can follow me on Instagram. It is KP_designs_KC. Kind of a long name. Always happy to connect.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. You're
Thank
such a
you.
joy, and
I appreciate it.
I feel so honored to be able to share your story, and I'm so glad we connected. Hi, everyone. We know your time is important, so thank you so much for spending it with us and for listening to this episode of Be Positive with Krista Gregg. If this conversation resonated with you, Bright Sky House now offers mental health first aid training. This is a one-day course, virtual or in person, to help you recognize when someone may be experiencing a mental health challenge. And then the course gives you tools to respond with confidence and care. If this is something you may be interested in learning more about, view our most recent mental health first aid courses and upcoming sessions at brightskyhouse.com. Thank you so much. We are glad you're here, and see you next episode.